Hello friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Jody and it's great to have you join me today. Today we are doing a clean with me. It's one of those videos where we're just going to get into the everyday cleaning tasks that need to be done and maintained. But we're going to talk about doing those things when you're feeling behind, when you're feeling rushed, when you're feeling maybe overwhelmed. So I'd love to have you join me. So we're just going to go around my house, as I said, clean up these areas and maybe just address ways that we can help ourselves just maintain more of a peace about it, maintain more of a calm about it, and not have it be so overwhelming. So let's get started. First off, I'd like to address my footwear. Now, I usually like to wear something on my feet other than just socks when it's cooler out, and I don't care for slippers really. So here I am wearing flip-flops with socks. I know that's a fashion faux pas, but I'm okay with it. I like it, and maybe I'm setting a new trend. All right, moving on to the next thing. I would like to point out how dusty certain spots in my house get. This spot in particular, the dresser in my bedroom, it's like the dresser that you can see from the hallway. So if anyone walks past our bedroom to go to the bathroom, they see this dust. I can clearly write my name in it. I showed you. And it's kind of embarrassing. And yet also I've learned to let go of that perfection a little bit, but we'll talk more about that as we go. I just want to fill you in on some things that are going on in my life. I've mentioned in the beginning of this video that I am very busy at this point. To a sense, I'm almost feeling overwhelmed at certain times, not like drowning overwhelmed, like I can never escape this, but just there's a lot on my plate right now and I'm trying to figure out how to manage it all. I'm doing YouTube full time, and while I am so excited about that, I'm so excited to see what the next chapters will bring in this adventure and to be able to create my own schedule in a new way and be able to create content for you guys, different variety of content. I'm so excited about this, but it's also just a big adjustment as far as time management. I'm pretty good with my time management, I feel like, but like I said, this is a whole nother level. Let's take a little break here though to enjoy some cuteness. My puppy, I say puppy, he's 14 years old and he is just adorable. This is his own chair. He has his own recliner and I just can't get enough of him. So while I was switching rooms, I took a moment to just zoom in on him and all his cuteness. So I hope you appreciate that. Now moving on to what I was saying about the time commitments and everything like that, the adjustments. I love YouTube. I am enjoying it, but there's just a lot to go into filming a video and then editing it and creating a thumbnail, adding it to like the YouTube channel and getting the descriptions and everything like that, music, all that. It's a time commitment. It definitely is. And I am thankful for this job, this opportunity to create new content for you guys. I'm excited to see where it takes me, but it's definitely something that I have to kind of figure out how long things take me. And as I become more proficient in them, I'm sure things will go a little smoother, things will go a little faster, but there'll always be a time element to it. The other huge time element to me is farming. I have said before that, and I think maybe you've seen some videos so far at this point, but I said before that I went to help my parents out with the farming for the remainder of the years that they choose to farm. Now, my father farms with one of his brothers, my uncle. But they won't be doing this forever. I'm thinking maybe like 5 years is kind of what my uncle has specified, kind of given my dad a timeline. I'm sure my dad would go on until he no longer could, but much like my grandfather. But that's probably not going to be an option for him. Hello, sweetie boy. Such a good boy. I love you. I love you. Are you ready to go outside? Are you ready to go outside? Go potty and poopy? Oh, sweetie pie. Okay, let's go outside. Come on. But as I said, I want to be there as much for them as I can, especially in these really push times like harvest and spring planting. Right now we are in harvest if you haven't gathered that already. At the time that I'm filming this video, we finished the soybeans and we are working on the corn, but we have had some rain. So that's why I'm actually able to do all this cleaning right now, is because the fields are too wet right now to really get in, so I have a little spare time on my hands. So I thought, why not clean and make a video of it? But farming is like an all-day commitment, a lot of days. There are days that we start at 8 in the morning and don't finish until 7 p.m. There are other days where we'll start at noon and finish around 7, but usually it's a pretty long day. The other huge thing that I am preparing for is our trip. This is going to be a 15-day trip. It's going to be a cruise in the Mediterranean Adriatic Sea area. And I will say that usually I am a planner. I like to have things really organized, and I would normally have already started packing by this point. I will say that we are leaving at the time I'm recording this, we are leaving in a week, and I don't have anything packed, and that is very unlike me. There are several reasons for that, I will say. One of them probably is due to the big time change as far as my schedule and farming and everything like that. But the other thing too is I was also waiting to see what the weather was going to be like in these areas. And so I was trying to decide, what kind of clothing I needed to pack. I think it's going to be this is one of those things. It's going to start out cooler in the morning as it is here where I'm from. It's going to start out cooler maybe in the lower 50s, and by the end of the day, or by the midday, the hottest part of the day is going to be in maybe the upper 60s to mid 70s, and then cool back off. So I have to have a range of clothing, and like I said, it's going to be 15 days, so I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to get everything that I need to packed. Also, I will say they do have a laundry service available on this ship, on this cruise, so I am happy for that. I won't need to have 15 different pairs of clothing plus some. But there's still a lot that I need to pack. I'm very nervous about getting everything into the suitcase. I'm allowed one check-in bag, one carry-on, and one personal bag. And I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed about how that is going to all work out. But you know what? It doesn't need to be perfect. It's about the memories. And this is what we are getting into, the whole talk that I want to have about when you're feeling overwhelmed, how to adjust your mindset to be better prepared to cope with the situations that life is presenting you. So let's get into that. Let's unpack that. The first thing I want to say is sometimes the hardest part about feeling overwhelmed is getting started. But really, that is a key, at least for me. Sometimes I struggle when I see like the whole big picture of all these different moving parts that have to be accomplished. I'm like, oh my goodness, where do I begin? How do I begin? But just begin. Start with one thing. Put one foot in front of another, and just the movement of your body going through the tasks keeps you moving a little bit easier. At least I have found that to be the case for myself. And so I find that, just like I said, getting going helps keep the motivation going to complete more tasks. And before you know it, you have most of your stuff done that you had thought was impossible to accomplish or seemed so overwhelming in the first place. So getting started is the first thing. The second thing is I like to give myself little rewards as I go along. Sometimes it's like a nice drink, like a hot tea, which I had earlier in this video. I know it was in one of those wine cooler things, I think, but when I purchased that, I didn't realize it was a wine cooler. I just liked the color and thought, hey, this will be great for my tea. It'll keep it warm. So anyways, that's one of the things that I really look forward to. A hot tea, a matcha. Another thing that I really look forward to as well is just doing a puzzle. So I tell myself, if I get these tasks accomplished, then I can have more time to work on a puzzle later in the afternoon, evening, whatever it is. But that's just, like I said, another simple reward that I can give myself. Another thing that I like to do, and I'm doing it in this video, is I have one earbud in and I am listening to some YouTube. Sometimes, actually, when I'm cleaning, I tend to listen to more talk style or podcast type YouTube videos. But that's just another thing to help the task go by, the time go by. It keeps my mind engaged. But I don't like to do this all the time. I do think it is good to have some time alone to your thoughts and just, use your mind on its own to develop your thoughts and think. Praying is another thing. And I'll get into this because this is my third step, or my third way to help make the overwhelming situation not feel so overwhelming. And that is spending time reading my Bible, working on my relationship with Jesus, and prayer time. Reading my Bible has sometimes been a struggle for me. I get involved in the tasks and I find that before I know it, the day is gone and I haven't read. And I find though, when I take the time to read the word, that I feel like I'm in a better mood as I go throughout the day. I feel like it helps my mood, helps my perspective, and everything like that. So that is one thing that I would encourage you, especially if you're Christians, you should be reading your word. And then along with that is just taking time with my relationship with the Lord. And you do this through prayer. And prayer time for me, oftentimes I like to be more active. Sitting down to pray with my eyes closed, sometimes I struggle. Maybe this is like a bad thing to admit, but sometimes I struggle because I just get sidetracked with my thoughts. My thoughts are spinning a mile a minute. I'm going from one thing to another, kind of squirrel-like type of conversations I feel like I'm having with Jesus. And before I know it, I'm not even praying anymore. I'm like, what's going on? So I feel like to keep myself focused on a prayer, a lot of times I like to do it on a walk or while I'm driving. Just doing something, cleaning. I can also pray while I'm cleaning. So that's another thing that just helps me personally. Another thing that I like to keep in mind is that I need to adjust my standards. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. My house doesn't have to look Pinterest worthy. If I have guests come over, most of the time, I'm sure most of my guests are not going to be like, oh, her trim around her floorboards is not dusted. Oh, this doesn't have that. Or, oh, this is out of place. That's just one of the things that I need to learn to do is, like I said, adjust my standards. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Another thing that I like to do is to kind of help myself in these situations, these daily situations, is to daily accomplish small tasks. Like one, I always make my bed. Now, I have not always been good about this. My husband has really helped me with this. And then two, we always do the dishes after meals. And that's just a small task that's taken off our plate in the grander, bigger picture of each day. Another thing that I like to do is remember that this is only a season. Whatever your situation is, I'm sure for most of us, it is only a season that we'll be going through this. Like I said, right now is the harvesting season as I'm filming this and recording this voiceover, and I'm really busy. But this will only last for a short time, a couple more weeks maybe, and we'll be done. And once I'm done with this trip too, another huge load is off my shoulders. So it's just going to last for a short time. So we are finishing up this video. I apologize that we're ending this video while I'm cleaning my toilet. Probably not the best thing. I didn't think of that necessarily as I was planning this out. But I just want to say thank you for joining me on this day. Thank you for just walking with me as I talk through these situations that help me not feel so overwhelmed throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the season. So thank you. And until I see you again in the next video, have a great day. Bye.